They're taking my jobs.
That's what they're stealing. Previously on Basement Discourse, we talked about maps.
We did.
That was it. For a whole while. Yep. Welcome, everybody, to Basement Discourse.
What's this fucking angle, Justin? This is bizarre. You're messing me up so much.
No, it's good. I like it.
It's very dynamic.
There you
It's
go.
just a lot.
Why? You just used to the camera being on that side? But it's straight on?
Straight on.
Hello. Welcome
to
to
know-
Basement Discourse.
Is this how we're doing this now?
This is how we're doing it now. Like when your mum gets on Skype for the first time. This thing on?
Am I close enough?
No, you're too close.
This one on? Can you hear me?
How is this a fucking show that we do? God damn it.
Because no one can tell us not to do this dumb shit.
That's right. No one can stop us from doing it, but also no one has to subscribe.
Yes, they do. Fucking
We'll make you. We'll
Now.
find you. Like fucking like Neeson.
Liam Neeson.
we have a particular set of skills, making you subscribe. Not through
We will
good
find
content,
you.
though.
This is not good. We can't say this. We can't say we can find people. Oh, Jesus.
Jace,
All right. What are we talking about today?
OSINT, baby. All right, let's open up with a discussion about, something
The
that's
Arse
near and
Creed.
dear to my heart, Assassin's Creed. Wait, there. Ha! Assassin's
Yeah,
Creed.
there it is. Cool.
Assassin's Creed. So they announced 3 new games. Only one of them they gave us a proper good look at. So
Is it predicted that all 3 of these games are coming out at the same time, roughly?
no,
or
I've based on how the trailers are, I think they are going to be progressively further apart.
Right, okay.
So first to be out will be Mirage, I believe, and I think that's 2023. They said. And that one, from the look of it, it's set somewhere in the Middle East. I'm shit at geography, so if someone knows exactly where, let us know. But it looks like it's set in the Middle East. It has a very similar vibe to the first 2 games based on the cinematic alone, purely in how he uses the environment and things like that. So just at face value, I have the impression that at least this is going to pander to nerds like me who didn't really get into the new style of AC games.
Yeah,
but
the
loved the old
RPG-esque
ones.
features.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. See, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind the jump to the new stuff because I was kind of getting a bit tired of the old because I played all of the old. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, it's just kind of, it's like the next Call of Duty. They just reskin it and out it comes again. And, at some point or another, the whole Abstergo story was just all muddied up. And I'm like, I have no idea what's going on with that. So I
Yeah.
don't really care anymore about that.
So I completely agree there. The whole Call of Duty sentiment, I sort of get, but sort of don't, because they did some really interesting stuff, especially when they did Syndicate, which was set in Industrial Revolution era UK. That was fucking cool as shit, especially because you could have a top hat. Top hat's a badass.
You're describing skins.
Fuck. No, but they had stuff like you would take over areas and stuff like that. Like they had that whole map ownership component and stuff that they've never really done before.
Right.
And they added a few new combat mechanics as well as having 2 main characters that you swapped between. And each
Similar
one
to where they touched on that with Assassin's Creed 3 back in the day.
Oh yeah, with Connor and his dad, wasn't it?
Can't remember if it was his dad or an enemy or something. It's been a while. But
Yeah, I think it was his dad. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
But that I thought was fine. Every now and then they'd freshen up the formula, but it was much of a muchness, especially after Black Flag. Black Flag was they'd taken 3 and been like, okay, we know what people liked in 3, and we're just going to go next level with that. So that was cool.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, yeah, we'll just keep churning out other stuff.
Yeah.
But then they went a complete different route. People were divided. But one of the things that I really miss is just the lack of grind that you needed to do. Like, being better at the game made you better. Not, I've got to, I don't know, fucking get level 75 so I can punch this old woman in the throat.
Yeah.
Like, I want to punch an old woman in the throat right from the start of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we need in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, nice.
But,
yeah, so that's all we've seen of that original so far, like the Mirage.
Yeah. And so
Cool.
I'm keen for it. Like, I'm not going to lay down a pre-order because that ain't me. I don't do pre-orders. But yeah, it does look pretty good. What are your thoughts on Mirage so far, Brady?
I'm keen on Mirage. I'm confused what they're doing because they have a bunch of these games. There's like Codename Jade is a mobile game.
Yeah, I didn't see Jade, but
Yeah, so Jade is a mobile game. Then Codename Red is the one I'm most keen for, obviously.
Jeez,
Yep.
sounds like fucking
but-
Pokemon.
I will play Mirage for sure, and I heard Codename Infinite and Hexy, I think.
yeah. So Hex, I'll discuss a bit as well because I've seen
Yeah,
the trailer
cool,
for
because
that.
I don't know much about that. But yeah, Jade is like a mobile game in China, I think.
So just like the other China Chronicles they did,
Yeah.
which was
I don't
crap.
know.
I really did not enjoy it.
No.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, I will play Mirage. I don't have much to say about it. I made a comparison that may or may not come off slightly racist, that it looks like Aladdin to me, because the trailer looks like he's a thief that he
Yeah,
has some
every
hardcore
Middle
rap
Eastern
Eastern
Middle East.
thief.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
it does
That's
look like
their name when they go to
the
jail. They're like,
beginning.
fuck you, Aladdin. And they throw them in with the rest
that
of the
fucking
Aladdins.
accent, Jesus fuck, man. You need to work on that one, man.
If I tiptoed the line, you ran over it.
He does that.
I'll play Mirage.
Got
I
it.
definitely will. I'm like you. I'm not gonna pre-order it, but I'm gonna get that one for sure. Codename Red, one we've all been waiting for, especially anyone who's played Ghost of Tsushima, because Codename Red is set in feudal Japan, and it's
Yeah.
an Assassin's Creed game, which people have been clawing at the gates for a long time because it fits the ninja theme very easily. But I don't
I'm
know
just
how they're
worried
gonna
after
tie it
like
in
Ghost of Tsushima,
story-wise.
like, you know.
Oh, it's a lot to live up to. That was a very
Yeah.
cool game, and most of its draw card was original in that game.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting. I just think it's going to be really fucking shoehorning in the story to make it work. That's
What
all.
story at this point? Like, what story are we talking about?
That's fairly fair.
So all we have for it is, so they've mentioned that it is a shinobi themed RPG. So we know that it's feudal Japan. It's based around shinobi, or like shinobis. I don't know if there's a plural for that, but whatever. It's based around that. And because they mentioned that it's an RPG, I would imagine it's more like the newer style AC games. So we're probably thinking more like Valhalla, but feudal Japan style. And the trailer is pretty much just, you see like the old school Japanese buildings. I don't know what they're called. Brady will have some weeb term for it in the next 38 seconds. And then you see a ninja, shinobi, fucking whatever, jump up on the roof of one, and then he like has his little katana in one hand, and then he has his hidden blade in the other. And
So yeah,
that's it.
But that's all. It's very much a teaser. I think you wouldn't expect to see that game next year.
Yeah, that's sort of what gives me the impression that we're looking at. That's probably, 2024, 2025, something like that.
Yeah, right.
I am keen. Assassin's Creed. I'm ready.
Like, I'm all for it because I'm really struggling with Sekiro, which I love the setting of, but the combat just, it hasn't clicked with me. No matter how much I chip at it, it just doesn't click. So if I can get that setting and something that vibes more with me, sign me up.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now, the third one that I had a bit of a look at was Hex, or Hexy, as he
I know
mentioned.
nothing about that. Yeah.
The trailer is literally just a forest, and a camera pans down to what appears to be like a handmade charm of the Assassin's Creed symbol made out of like twigs and shit. So the term Hex, being in a forest using symbolism with twigs and that, makes me think like witches maybe Salem,
Yeah.
something along those lines.
Yeah, maybe they'll try and like play it off as like they were the Salem witches
Perhaps,
in the witch trial or something like that.
I'd be curious about that, because one of the things I find really interesting about the Salem witch trials is how much bullshit was made up about them. Like, apparently the whole burning at the stake thing was actually extraordinarily uncommon.
Yeah, I think it was only 13 in the whole of history that were burnt at the stake.
Yeah.
Which is not that many, really,
No.
in the grand scheme.
But there's all sorts of
I think they would
stuff.
disagree.
I guess the 13 would be like,
they
well,
would
one's
probably
enough.
think, yeah, they would probably think 13 too many, but that's yeah.
You raise a good point there, Brady. But I'm kind of interested because that kind of spooky shit that isn't actually spooky, because I'm a coward when it comes to scary games. Yeah, when
Dude, scary games are way worse than movies. Like movies
Oh,
are
100%.
Scary games can go fuck themselves.
Yeah, dude. Even playing like Elden Ring for the first time, you get to like dark areas. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's only scary
it's not
because you're like, fuck, where was the last point of grace?
Yeah, no.
It's fucking
In a Souls game, the dark area isn't the scary bit. It's the dark area when nothing's happened for 2 minutes. You're like,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's literally any area for me that anything hasn't happened for 2 minutes. I'm like, it's quiet. Too quiet. Next minute, you died.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. But yeah, that's the Assassin's Creed games that actually matter. I'm not talking about mobile games, because mobile games are a joke. We did one episode on it. That is all. Never again.
Yeah, I think there's more to expand on there. I'm still playing like a few different ones.
Of course,
still
you
stuck in my stupid mobile gacha game.
Oh, God, get out.
Every day.
Get out, you fool. Wow, that's ridiculous.
fucking weeb.
I sent you guys a short clip of that new game coming from the Rick and Morty creators as well.
Yes, I did see that. That was hilarious.
I think that's going to be great. I think that is going to be a real laugh. So when that comes out, we've really got to get onto that. What's it called again?
High on Life.
Yeah, High on Life. Yeah. So yeah, I think I mean, they're showing a lot of clips now, so I feel like the release will it might even be bumped forward from next year.
Maybe.
At this pace,
I would prefer that they wait. Just make sure
true.
that shit's good.
Yeah.
But it does look good. Like, it has a very sort of Rick and Morty vibe, because obviously it's very unique of the voice actor.
Yeah.
Because the creator does the voice of both Rick and Morty, I believe. And so,
yeah. And I mean, that scene that I'm talking about is a short video that has been released very recently. They're standing in front of a kid, and the gun is just basically talking in Morty's voice, and it's basically just like, "There's a kid. You can't kill the kid. Like, what are you doing?" And then you eventually will have to kill the kid, and then just like gives you so much shit for it for so long. It's so good. So
it's good.
Yeah,
and
killing kids in a video game.
It's a very good piss take on what Fallout like forced you not to do, like Fallout 3 at least. Because there was all those incidents where there were children and you just could not do anything to injure them. And then if you modded it to be able to injure them, it just completely freaked the whole game out. Fucking stupid. Yeah.
Damn it, I want to kill kids!
As if you don't mod games to do that. Like,
oh my God. Absolutely ridiculous.
And the channel is completely taken down.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Thank
why not?
you.
Let's mix it up a little bit.
Google.
So we were also discussing another topic for tonight as well. Do we
Because we do
what
that,
was?
believe it or not.
Yeah, we
I
roughly
do.
outline things.
I remember.
Yeah, sometimes we talk about things that we should talk about, and other times we just talk about a whole bunch of other shit.
Yeah, but like we also talk about a whole lot. Fuck. Yeah, I'm just gonna stop.
Just cut.
Yeah, min-maxing.
Min
All right.
maxing. Yeah.
So
Making episodes the best they can be in the minimal amount of time. We don't know how. Anyone know?
yeah, no idea. We just cut the time
Quantity
down
over
and then
quality.
just made it shit. Basically the general premise of min-maxing is minimizing negative traits of a player character, whether it be in a video game or an RPG, whatever, and then maximizing all their positive traits to get the most out of your character. So a good example of this would be like the people who play a game like Elden Ring and they will run the Rivers of Blood katana loadout because it just fucks everything up. That's a good example of min-maxing. So they'll focus on all the positive traits that benefit that to make the game as easy as possible. There's thousands of examples in D&D of how people do this. They usually, use multi-classing and stuff like that so that they can basically, for lack of a better word, game the system and make encounters a much easier process. So I guess we've already spoken a bit about gaming, so let's head to the tabletop realm. What's your stance on players who focus on min-maxing at your table, Justin?
Me personally, it really pisses me off. I find nothing more annoying than someone just trying to win all the time. Because D&D, if for those who don't know, it's not about winning. It's about being part of a story that is just progressing alongside you. So when people are constantly trying to fight the DM, basically, and trying to beat the game, like it's some sort of a video game setting, it just makes it not fun. Because all they end up doing is just winning a whole lot and having no challenge along the way. And I think pretty much all of the most memorable times we've ever had on a table are the ones where you're on like a knife edge, or the ones where you fuck up and someone dies, or the one where you like really, just don't expect an outcome. They're the ones that are memorable. The ones where you just win, like I've had a million of those and none of them I really recall. Because it's just so boring and it's so predictable and it's just so cool. You guys did it again. So min-maxing to me frustrates me, and it really annoys me that they put so much effort into something that they don't need to. Like just skills in general. I don't care what you do with them. And it's great if you want to be powerful and you want to make yourself strong and whatever and level yourself up in a certain way and spend your skill points strategically and all of that, but I think in the end, like, it's going to be more memorable just random rolling a character from the start, just having random shit stats and just going for gold. Like, they're the most memorable things, and that's what it's about. That's what D&D is about, being part of a story, not part of a winning team. So
it's funny that you mentioned that, because it was something that had never really clicked in my head until I've read that comic that you gave me, Justin. It's a Stranger Things Dungeons and Dragons graphic novel. And in there, at one point, they mention how the DM isn't inherently like someone that you're versing, but it's another player at the table. That they just have a slightly different role. And you're playing the game together. You're not versing each other. This isn't a back and forth. This isn't a fight, because a DM could always win. They could just be like, all right, there's a level 700 dragon. He steps on you, you're all dead.
Exactly. You can wipe your players off the face of the earth. The hard part of being a DM is finding a balance between that. So not making it too easy. And this is where like the CR levels, which you're meant to run off of for D&D, are just balls because they don't really work very well. So the balancing is very difficult, especially when you've got people trying to win and trying to like throw the balance out. So in an ideal world, if you've got a party of 4 and they're all level 2, your CR is 2. So that's what you run on. And you build your encounter using a point buy system of sorts to make that encounter a CR2. So each creature might be a 0.5 or something. So you can put 4 of these creatures up against your crew and you're all good in that case. That's how CR works. But it doesn't work when you've got a dynamic group, so a group that hits hard or a group that can get hit hard, and it doesn't work when people are way stronger than they should be at a certain level. So min-maxing.
And it doesn't invite, or it's not so much about inviting, it won't play well with improvised stuff. So people who make cocktails or whips out of needles or like, that's not gonna work, right?
None of that stuff even should work. And
you don't have CR ratings on those things, but telling the players they can't do it is no fun, because they're like, well, the materials are here.
That's right.
We're playing a role-play game. This is what my character wants to do, and that's in line with my character, hopefully, if they're doing the job right. So, CR ratings are a bit, as someone
they're
still
a
quite
bit balls,
novice-y, I think they don't really work.
Not really. You're much better off just trying your own thing and just seeing what works. What has worked in the past for balancing a fight has been working out what the character traits are of your creatures that you're fighting up against. So creatures like zombies will never flee from a fight because they don't care, because they're already dead. So they will just fight to the bone. They will fight all the way through to nothing. Whereas other creatures may actually care for their life and will flee at a certain moment in time. So that will free you up to go, okay, well, I can balance this a little bit more. I can probably put a few more of these guys in there. Other characters are like pack animals, so wolves and things like that will get stronger, or they'll band together. So they'll tend to actually gang up on the one person instead. So there are certain ways to balance a fight a little bit better than just throwing numbers down on the table. But yeah, it gets really difficult when you're trying to balance all of this. You're trying to find a dynamic thing, and you've got this one guy, or even the whole table, trying to beat you all the whole time. It's just like you're missing the point of playing this game. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. If everyone dies, we re-roll, we start again. You know, there's consequences for the actions on my table. So if everyone died in our current campaign, shit would happen, and it would be an effect of, you know, the players not having done whatever they were meant to do to stop it. But then the next guys come in and then they have something to fix. So that makes for a great story as it is. That's awesome. Yeah. But, you know, it's just not memorable if all they're doing is just trouncing everything you're throwing at them no matter what. So you've got like heaps of different races now, like heaps of different classes. There must be easily over 50 races, but at this stage I wouldn't even know. But there's so many. And, you know, you've got a lot of them that can breathe underwater. They don't need to sleep. Like, don't need to eat.
They've got 35 feet of movement.
Can't swing a sword for shit.
That's a dice issue.
Like, who gave me those dice?
Balancing. But I kind of agree. Like, I've heard that there are certain tables where a DM will play very much as an opponent to the players. And in those sorts of instances, I think min-maxing could work. But me as a player, half the fun of it is getting involved in the character and actually, you know, fearing consequences. Like, everyone here has surely seen all of our D&D episodes up to this point.
Of course,
so
they're all up
you know full well that I will fuck
definitely
around.
Seen the Christmas special.
Yeah, definitely. So you'll know that I fuck around and I do dumb shit left, right, and center. But the moment we get into a life or death scenario, I'm like fucking panicked. I'm like, oh, I'm totally gonna kill Snacks here. I'm a fucking idiot. But those are the moments that I enjoy the most. Like, when we went up against the Kill Mill, I had I'm a fucking barbarian. What the fuck am I gonna do?
You worked
Coincidentally,
it out.
I did a thing, and we found a way around it, but it wasn't easy, and it actually took thinking, which is something I struggle with.
It was good though. It was good. You didn't just walk in there and trounce everything and then walk away. You know, it was a bit of a struggle at least. Although you guys did better than I thought.
Cliche didn't get murdered.
Spoiler.
I was fucking put myself out there though.
You tried.
This is true.
But that's the thing. Like D&D is the point of difference here. Like, if you're talking about a game, I always think like you bought the game, do whatever the fuck you want with it. If you want to play a video game like that, I don't find that particularly fun on the first playthrough. I might want to do that for shits and giggles later, just to see how outrageous shit can get, like Skyrimming multiple enchantments on a sword and freezing and burning something at once. Some shit like that, killing elder dragons with a swing and being like, that was funny.
Punch a
But the
giant, and he
first
punches you
time-
back, and you die, and you're like, well, that didn't work.
Yeah. But like the first playthrough of any game, I do want it to be fun. I want it to be challenged. I want to get, value for my money as well. I don't want it to be over in 3 hours. But that being said, you bought the game. Do it however the fuck you want, but don't come up and brag about it if you did it in the most min-maxed way, because we'll just send snacks your way to beat it with a dagger. It's just like, yeah, like do whatever you want. But I mean, yeah, personally, I don't think min-maxing is the best way to play your video games, and I don't think it has really many places at a tabletop game.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think it's fun
I think
for you
The
or your
original, the OG,
players.
like first edition D&D, it was a lot of numbers. It was all about numbers versus numbers. It was very similar to your Warhammer and all the rest of it back in those days. So it was you versus the DM. So even though Stranger Things sort of portrays it as like a more of a story-driven thing, I think that was a little bit more niche than what they're actually putting it out there. I think a lot of games were you fight the DM and the DM tries to kill you with like hidden traps and hidden beasts and all this other stuff that can kill you, and it's just your numbers versus theirs. And then as the stories have progressed and built up over the lore of D&D and over the editions that have come out from 3.5 onwards, you can see like even in the abilities and stuff, like they had like streetwise and all these other weird ability checks like dungeoneering and stuff in the 3.5 and 4th editions and stuff like that. So it was just like they started to realize that people didn't care so much about winning anymore. They cared about like how they were going to get like the journey between,
Yeah, well, I also feel like when we're playing our campaign specifically, most of the time, I mean, I look forward to the fights, but I also enjoy the time outside of the fights almost more. Like,
yeah,
sometimes I'm like, okay, I want to get moving on, but often I just want to explore those characters, the world, the funnies. I want to have silly interactions with my friends who are playing characters that they aren't usually, and I'm not being myself as usual. And it's all just amped up and really silly, and we're playing in this world, and if you're playing with like a good group of people as well, like, it's not a judgment situation. Like, if you want to do an accent, go for it. If you don't. But if you want to play it some way, that's fucking great. It's awesome fun. It's a little weird for us because we got like 3 fucking cameras on us. But like in general, that's the best part, like the role-playing element, not trying to win. Because sure, we'd all love an epic conclusion, but I'll also laugh my ass off if I die face down in the mud, which is very fucking likely if I roll the wrong number at least one more time. So
yeah, no, that checks out.
Yeah.
But heading back to gaming briefly, my thing with min-maxing in gaming, when you're playing single player, do it however you fucking want. Like you said, Brady, if you're gonna brag about it, like beating a game in blah time by min-maxing, no one's really going to give a shit. But the problem I find is more when people go out of their way to do it in like a multiplayer environment, especially in like mostly in PvP style games. So an example would be the PvP in like Elden Ring. For a while there, it was literally just people with Rivers of Blood and Bloodhound Step. For those who aren't initiated, Rivers of Blood was the most broken like technique that you could have, because it would just take off a huge percentage of an enemy's health. And Bloodhound Step gave you the ability to dodge while turning invisible and almost teleport of sorts.
yeah.
And so people would just mix the two over and over and you'd just get killed. So anytime you did PvP, it was always against the same shit over and over. That's fucking boring. And if all you're doing is doing that to win the game, that's not fun. Well, it's not fun for the people who have to verse your shit. Like, regardless of how much you lose or get smashed by people who are just good, it makes the game unenjoyable. And at the end of the day, all this shit is about having a bit of fun. So
Well, that's it.
just
I
fucking
laugh
have fun.
so fucking hard when I see dumb ass loadouts, and I have so much more fun with it. Like playing with our mate Ethan. He asked me to help him with something, and he come in and he's got like a big stupid head on it and the jellyfish shield, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I don't know. I just equip whatever I pick up." I saw someone did an Inosuke from Demon Slayer build.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's sick.
That was pretty cool. Like, I love seeing that shit. That's way funnier than just like loading out someone's got heaps fast stuff on and you're like, oh, cool. Or like even when they help you on something, I hated finding randoms who I was like, cool, let's do this together. And then they just kill it while I stood there and I was like, ah.
Achievement,
Thanks.
yay.
The only exception being that let me solo her guy.
That's
That
fine.
guy's a fucking hero.
Yeah.
Goddamn hero.
If you're gonna outskill the game to that degree, do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah. But he's just min-maxing life itself.
Yeah.
Have you seen him do the like? I seen a short and it was like his like one of the 900th times he'd fought Millennia, and he was just like dancing, like he would move. I reckon it was half a second before the move came to hit him, so it just looked silly because he was like, move that way, hit went past him, move this way, hit went past him. He was so well timed. He had got it down to like what must be one click of a key, like it was just so silly. It was just
So
outrageous.
fucking. It's so good seeing people who are like that.
If you
though.
can skill that far, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, that's right. That's
but that's a
min-maxing
different
to
level.
the highest of levels.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
like Claude worthy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the general premise of this is don't min-max, just be a sick cunt.
Yeah. That's it.
And Assassin's Creed stopped making mobile games. Ubisoft.
Also
this
that,
is
yeah.
true. Yeah.
fuck that off.
Yeah, let's roll that out. Yep. Cool. That's another app.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
Yeah. And then we'll get a better angle of Justin's head so you can work out how many pins you could knock down with it.
Like this.